back today with
Scottiplier. Hey everyone.
You easily have to get a flathead screwdriver, small one, to pop out the white locks. You see the white bar in the center? Hi guys, Cash Vault back, and today we are going to be doing a DIY project of maintaining your DJ controller board. And of course mine is still in the case that's right here next to me on the table, so we're going to bring the camera into focus on the next scene up close here so you'll be able to see it and what you will need for this cleaning. It's really simple. All you need really is just to get these nice clean wipes and a really nice cleaning duster spray. You can find these in your local hardware store or maybe even your local grocery store if they have a section for it, like a cleaning supply aisle. But this one is an old one I have, but still works great, and I have a lot of it left. It's from Office Depot. So it's 100% non-flammable, so that's great. It removes dirt and debris on computer, audio, video, and other office equipment, and this is what I consider part of my office equipment. It's moisture and residue free and non-ozone depleting. So this is what we will be working with today, and you would just need a towel or maybe a paper towel for the rest of the wiping to dry off. This will not damage your equipment as long as you do it correctly and carefully, which is what I'll be showing you today. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay everybody, so this is what we have once again. We got our Office Depot brand, which is just for mine that I'm using. A cleaning duster sprayer. So it still sprays air, which is good. And then all I just use is just Wipe and Clear that you can get for lens wipes for glasses. This would be good enough because it just needs to be a little moist. And then I'm just using a regular clean wiping rag or towel. So, now that we have our stuff, this is what I like to do first when I am cleaning. We need to prep it by taking most of the knobs out. Yes, the twist knobs of your controller. This one that we'll be working with today is the Pioneer DDJ 1000 for record box. Really standard, great controller. Still one of the kings out there in my opinion. New kind of condition, great working. So, without further ado, let's remove the knob. This is an example. In the next shot, we're going to be doing it in fast mode so you can see which knobs that I will be removing. So one of them, for example, is, let's see. I think we can remove this one. The master switch. Maybe not. I think that one stays in. So we can do this one, for example. The mics. See, you have to just grip it pretty good, and then it takes a little bit of force or strength. You just pop it right up, and then see, when you put it back in, you just gotta fit it with the frame inside, and you can still twist the metallic body part of the knob to make sure that you didn't accidentally pull the whole thing out. But you can't really pull these whole things out on purpose. The only thing that would come out would be the twist knob itself. And so what I like to do is I like to put it on the side in the right kind of vertical column kind of order, so I know exactly the section of each ones to put back where they exactly belonged after the cleaning is over. So without further ado, let's remove the knob. Okay guys, so there's one other tool that you need that I had forgot to mention earlier. So you would need your spray thing, the air duster. You will need your wipe and clear lens wipes, and you will need your towel. And what you also need is like a tiny flathead screwdriver. Like you're twisting in a flathead nail or screw. But you just need a tiny one because now we're going to do the fade switches. They call these the faders for the channel decks, including the deck, the Magvel fader is what they call it on this one. Because we need to now take the fader switches up, but you can't just pull them up like you could on most of the knobs, because now you see the knobs on the channels are now taken out, and they'll be ready for cleaning around it once we get to it. What you need now is the tiny flathead screwdriver to actually kind of go under a fader, and then you're going to go on the side here and then have like the edge of the driver kind of push up. You're going to kind of pull up and see how this white cap comes out? That is kind of what locks it in place to prevent it from being pulled up by accident during a gig, because if something goes wrong like that and then you're like, oh crap, now I can't control the fader. Well, this is exactly what happens. And then once you're done, when you put it back in, you could just put it in where it fits, and when there's no resistance, just tap it in, and then you'll hear a little click, like it attached on a hook inside, because that's kind of what it does. They call it the P-shaped hook or something like that. But that's really for this side fader. So, let's see. Can you guys see the side fader? No, you can't. Okay, so this is what I mean by the side fader. The Magvel fader that switches from left to right decks. And this is what they call crossfader for each channel, like volume and such. So that's what we're gonna do with this fader, with the faders. So on the next scene, we're gonna take it apart. Alright guys, so another thing that I forgot to mention is that after I removed the knobs, now we've removed the crossfaders. Now it just looks like the naked frame right here, which is what we want for all of our 4 decks, including the Magvel fader, the side fader, or they call the scratch fader for scratching. So this is a good sign. And there are even 2 knobs here that are the level depth for applying the effects of the strength, and the channel select knob. We can just easily pull those up as well, carefully. But this beat effects knob that has all the 14 different effects you can switch from, this one was not pulling up, so I'm not going to mess with this one. We're going to keep that on. And we're going to also keep on the tempo faders as well. So we're not removing those. And then I've just set my jog wheels on jog adjust all the way to light, so we can easily spin it as we're kind of cleaning around it. So now, the first thing that I want to do is, I would like to take out one of the wipes. And then we can just carefully clean column and column by row. Something like this. It's especially over time, since like dust or bits of like hairs can probably get in there depending on what kind of hair you have or maybe who's using it. But no matter what, I always have short hair, so I always find them in there for some odd reason. And then once you're done applying these wipes, what you then want to do kind of quickly is get your towel, and then you would want to wipe it off as quickly as possible to prevent any leftover wet marks, which can look like dirt. So now, get your towel. If you switch anything else by accident, you can always fix it later. I just want to get this done right away. So yep, see, I'm picking up some hairs in the towel already, and it's looking a little shinier than it used to. And then every now and then there are some areas where you might have to do a little bit of scrubbing because some things kind of stuck to it. But that's perfectly okay. You can use a little more wipe, and then towel again right away over it. The master volume readout, boot monitor, beat effect screen. Always nice to have that sparkly clear. Sparkly clear. Then this is a good chance to go around the knobs pretty well while the knobs are out. And then on the decks, same thing. Going around the buttons as quick as you can, and even some around the jog wheel edge frame that's right there. We can go around, quickly wipe off. Get the frame of the jog wheel where your fingers would be for beat adjusting. The grid adjust slider, and then on top. On top is where you can do a pretty good wipe down, especially because we have an LED screen here on the top to give us beat information, the like BPM, waveforms, however you had adjusted it in your software. And now we're going to get down here to the beat, to the cues and sample pads. And then sometimes, believe it or not, in between each of these cue buttons, it can get a little residue sometimes, or a little stained like the rest of the controller can get. You would think it wouldn't go there, but think again, because as a DJ, you're using these buttons a lot. So, we also want to be careful that we do not get any of the moist stuff inside the system. So, that's why we're only using these wipes, because with these wipes, it'll be safe. You don't want to just use like Windex or powerful chemical liquids, because if you do on these things, it can leak inside the computer system of this thing, and there could be damage. And of course you don't want that unless you have the extended warranty for your product. If we need another wipe, I always have an extra. We may need that for the next side deck. As far as what it looks like, it's looking pretty well. It looks pretty well. Alright, I think we are done with the, let's see, what do they call it? We're done with the mixer section. We've done the wiping, we've done the toweling, and now just for a little bit of air, I want to quickly not apply too much pressure, because we want it to be like a light, like light blow pressure to kind of go inside the shaft chamber of where the crossfaders, you know, groove or slide onto. So we are going to carefully light spray in here. See? Because see, that went a little too much, so I don't believe there was enough to cause any damage. So that's good. That's why you gotta go very light. Or if you feel confident enough, if you think the wiping is good enough, you don't have to use this. I just like to do it. And then here on the tempo fader, and then a quick wipe. Because I've noticed that after I've done this cleaning, the buttons have been like less resistant, which means they're looser, they're smoother, which makes for a more groovy controller. Groovy. And then just a quick blow around the entire thing. It's kind of like a vacuum. We're using a blower to blow the leaves around. Well, same kind of principle. You know, this side deck, surprisingly, is not really that bad. Compared to the other side, which I think was a little dirtier. So now we're going to use our next wipe to get the whole next deck. We're pretty much done with the mixer. Everything here looks fine. You can give yourselves a good quick check. If you find any more spots need a little more scrubbing, like wipe down or attention, you could always go back over it and repeat the processes, like the wipe and then the towel. But it looks like now we're just going to be doing the next deck. Alright, and I don't know if you can see in this frame pretty well, but here on the side I have my knobs that I had pulled out. I like to align them in order of exactly giving myself the idea of where it goes back on the mixer. Therefore, I don't lose track of what knobs go with what. You pretty much, if you have the same kind of knobs, like 4 highs, 4 mids, and 4 lows, you can pick any of the high knobs and just put it back in any high slot, really. I just like to put them back in order the way they came in. So, now we'll get our next wipe. Oh, and by the way, on this side of the controller, I had the same thing. I have one designated knob column of the knobs that I pulled out for the master level and beat effects column right here. For the master volume, booth monitor, channel select, level depth. So yeah, it's over there. Over here it's just the mixer stuff that I had put. So now we got our new wipe, and now very same thing. Do a quick wipe around and around and around on top of the jog wheel. I especially love doing the top of the jog wheel because I like it to be extra shiny and clear the display here, so when it comes back on it'll be much brighter and look newer, like it came right back out of the box. So now we're going to be doing the same thing all around each button, in between each cue. See, like what I'm doing, I'm going back on the mixture, on the mixer where I found some more smudge spots that I'm quickly just wiping away. I don't think that it's necessary on this side to do to use the cleaning duster. I think this side looks good enough. We can just do wiping over here. And then I like to, once again, I don't know if I said this already, but the jog adjust, I like to put it all the way to light. So it's much looser and easier to clean with. So let's see, I think everything is wiped over here. The tempo adjust slider looks okay. That looks fine. And then of course, what I always like to do is every time I'm done cleaning, which we're pretty much done by now, is of course when you put back on all your knobs and kind of give it like a little feel test, you know, turn it around a bit, see how each naked knob on each deck, it kind of clicks back where you have it at the 12 o'clock position. That's where you have the idea of the white part of the knob that goes straight up. So that exactly is what we want to do. So in the next scene, we're now just going to be putting on back all the knobs and the fader. So when you're putting the faders back on, you want to make sure that, I don't know if you can see, but there's a part right here where it's got like two, if you look inside the hole, there's like two little grooves that have to go within the round part of the switch. So what I like to do sometimes is taking the switch all the way far left as you can, like at 0 effects or at like lowest volume or mute. And then I like to take the white part and just align it there. And then once you put it back on, give it a little tug. And then, of course, line it up as best as you can. And then give it a little tug, and then it should just slide back in. So now that's what we're going to do with the rest of them. Okay, so now we got all of our knobs back on the mixer and the master volume channel, or column. So now what we want to do is we're just going to put back on the crossfaders, and then the assembly is done. So with the side fader here, you need to put back on this, what they call the P-hook first, before putting back on the actual switch and then securing it with the white cap. So you can definitely see there's like a whole thing right here that's like a puzzle. You have to put it in right in the center where it locks in, and then the sides should just be secured like that. And then of course the knob has to go this way for this. The others go horizontal. So now what we want to do is we have to kind of put it on in the shape and let's see, does the white cap go in? Yes, it does. Amazing, so that was successful. And now we're just going to do the same with the others. So now this has to go on in any side. You can pick any side. Have the frames hug around the metal support. So it should just slide back in the groove like that. And then we should be able to take whatever end is supposed to have the hook snap into. So let's see, if we take that, well, see, I don't know if that was exactly right, so we're going to try this again. So if it doesn't go in like that, it should go in the other way. Uh-huh, that seems right. And now take the white cap and then fit it in like a puzzle exactly where it goes. And then you heard it snap. Good, it doesn't come up easily and you can roll it. So we're getting somewhere. You can sometimes like duck down and kind of look underneath to see if there's any like thing that's sticking out. If it's like that, then that's the wrong way. You flip it around, you do it the other way. And now the cap should be able to go in. Success. Just 2 more and then we're done. And now you're done. Your controller is cleaned by now after what we did. And it's all back to the way that it was. And then the last thing that I want to do before I make sure that it all works and I did everything correctly, I like to turn on the board, open up my software, and do some like, scratching or do some knobs, do all of the effects and kind of like test it out, make sure nothing's damaged or anything. But I've always had success with it. So that's the way that I do it. I hope that this was very helpful for you DDJ 1000 and DJ controllers owners out there. If you do this every now and then, I like to do this every 6 months. So that's like 2 times a year. You will have like a nice sparkly, clean, brand new kind of controller like you had it right out of the box. So hope this was helpful.